Hey, it's John. Welcome back to the show, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Live Cut. The premise of this series is to talk about live albums that don't get enough love or recognition. Before we discuss the live album we'll be talking about today, let me introduce you to my esteemed guest. You may know him from his channel, Y&T and Friends Vinyl Talk here on YouTube, or you may also know him from his appearances on Tim's Vinyl Confessions. My friend, Bryan Foster, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Great to be on here tonight with you.
Thank you. It's great to have you. And the live album that Bryan and I will be discussing today is one that Bryan has suggested, and I did not own until he suggested this album. That's right. This is Styx, Caught in the Act, released on April 12, 1984 on A&M Records. This was recorded during the Kilroy Was Here tour. They also put out a concert VHS for this show, and Bryan is showing, is that that is from the original video for the VHS, am I to
That
presume?
is that's what was in the original vinyls. Yep. That's the order form for that video.
So that vinyl that you were showing up, is that okay?
That's an original 84.
Oh, nice. Oh, so and it's got the promo sticker on there. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually a promotional copy. You can see the stamp on the back there.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, right down there in the lower right.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. And it came with the flyer. So kind of like for us with Y&T, Open Fire came with this little flyer too for the VHS copy. So
Nice. Ah, excellent. So this album would be the last album with the classic lineup.
yep.
When the band would get back together in 1990, they didn't have Tommy Shaw. When they get back together in, I believe, 1995, they would not have John Panazzo because he was in failing health and then he would pass away in 1996.
Yep.
Speaking of the classic lineup, the lineup who performed on this live album are Dennis DeYoung on keyboards and vocals, Chuck Panazzo on bass guitar, bass pedals, and vocals, John Panazzo on drums and percussion, Tommy Shaw on acoustic, lead and electric guitars, vocoder, and vocals, and James J.Y. Young on electric and lead guitars, string synthesizer, and vocals. As I mentioned before, John Panazzo is no longer with us. He is the only member of the classic lineup that is no longer with us. Tommy Shaw and James J.Y. Young are still in the band full time to this day and doing all the shows. Chuck Panazzo, I believe, is still a member. I don't think he's doing live shows anymore, or is he just making?
No, he still is. He still is.
Okay, so but is he's some, but he usually has another bass player with him. Am I correct about that? Or
Correct. Yeah. He will do. He's not necessarily out there every single song, but
okay,
I mean, the last what 5 years I've seen him. I've seen him every year for the last 5 years. Chuck has been there every show I've seen,
nice.
as long as it's at least part of it.
Oh,
But he's been out there.
excellent. Okay, I did not know that. All right, so we're going to talk about the album today, and we're going to bounce around the catalog, have a nice discussion here on Styx, as I like to do when I start these conversations. Bryan, when did you first discover Styx's music?
So honestly, it was early '80s, and it was MTV. So like I think it was probably Too Much Time on My Hands, the
Okay.
video, the jumpsuits, the good old
Mhm.
80s jumpsuits, there, and which kind of led me. led me into some more Styx. From there, going back, I really didn't get into the, you know, kind of the earlier stuff until probably 2000s, the Wooden Nickel albums and that. But yeah, from the early 80s until, this album, I definitely follow them.
One of the first two cassettes that I received as a gift from my Nana, rest in peace, in 1981 was Paradise Theater.
There you
This
go.
is not my cassette from 1981. I bought it again in 1990. I lost my original Paradise Theater and my other cassette, Billy Joel Glass Houses, somewhere along the way. So I got into them right around the time you did, Brian. I do remember the songs vaguely that were hits earlier, like Renegade and Come Sail Away and Lady. By the late 80s, early 90s, I had picked up this album along with Pieces of Eight and Grand Illusion. Those were the two albums, two of the albums before that. I never owned Cornerstone. And I had them on cassette too. I have them right here. So those are those albums. And I never bought Kilroy Was Here, but I do remember them getting played heavy on our classic rock radio stations here. WEZX FM, Rock 107 in Scranton, Pennsylvania is still locally owned and operated. I like to throw that in every single time, or my friend Nick Esquire will verbally kick my ass. So I do remember when they came back in 1990 with Edge of the Century.
Yeah.
I remember that album and the videos from that when they had Glenn Burtnick in for Tommy Shaw, because Tommy Shaw was in Damn Yankees at that time. And then I kind of fell off the path with them. I have listened to some of the later stuff that they've been doing. Are
Yeah.
you a fan of the later albums? Like for example, this one here. Let me just put this one out. Crash of the Crown.
Crash of the Crown. I do own the I should have grabbed them. I do own the last two albums that they put out, Crash of the Crowns and why am I drawing a blank on the last one? Just
Well, there
came
was the
out.
Mission, but I think that was the album before. I forget the name of
Yeah,
it.
the Mission was before that.
There was an album in
Um,
25.
yeah, hold on a second.
Okay.
Staring at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Circling from Above.
Oh, Circle from Above. Okay. I've heard good
Yeah.
things, actually very good things about that album.
Yeah, I like some of it.
Okay.
Some of it's a little progressive for me. I'm not a huge progressive guy,
Okay.
but um yeah, I prefer the late 70s Styx, AOR hits kind of,
Me
as
too.
opposed to this. But um there's definitely some good tracks. And hey, look, any of these bands that want to keep writing music and putting music out, I'll support it day in, day out. So
Absolutely. No doubt about it. This album was recorded over 2 nights, April 9 and 10, 1983, at the Saenger Theater in New Orleans, Louisiana. He actually played 4 nights at that theater because early on in this tour, the band, particularly Dennis DeYoung, really wanted to focus on the concept that was Kilroy Was Here.
yes.
And the shows in the smaller theaters were more like they weren't really so much a rock show as much as you were watching a live theater performance, because you had the band members all playing different roles.
Yep.
And in the smaller theaters, it turned out to be a bomb financially and critically, because it was a very expensive production to put on in those small theaters. And the fans were expecting more of a rock show. So a lot of them were disappointed, although I've seen some reviews where Some of them I've seen some fans say it was one of the best shows they've ever seen. Later on in the tour, they started playing the larger venues. They were playing all along, like the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, and the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, etc. With this album, I think the way they put this out, this was originally a 2-record set. It hit number 31 in the United States in 1984. Interestingly, never went gold, which I find surprising because a 2-record set is counted as 2 albums, at least back then.
Yeah.
So I'm
So it'll be like 250,000 to sell.
correct. Yeah, so I'm surprised by that. Now I know Kilroy Was Here was a big down step in their how many albums they sold, but it still went platinum, and it still had 2 huge hits. One that you
Well,
still one that you
they
still
had what, three albums before that went triple platinum in a row?
I think they were the first band to do that.
Yes.
The first band to have 3 triple platinum in a row with The Grand Illusion, Pieces of Eight, and Cornerstone, respectively.
Yep.
So I'm surprised this hasn't certified. Maybe I'm gathering it did. It just never was certified by A&M.
Yeah.
Because when this came out, when they reissued this came out on BGO Records. This is a 2018 version. So, but back in the day, they recorded the album and they put it out as a VHS. So you see a lot of the theatrics on there. And by the way, you can watch this on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can watch this on YouTube. You see the theatrical part of the show, and as well as the live performances. So we're gonna talk about the album, talk about what we really, really enjoy on it, what the highlights are. What do you think are some of the standout tracks on this, Bryan?
Well, I think before we get into the live tracks, I think we kind of have to talk about the studio track. And
Okay.
obviously it's not the first live album to have a studio track on it, right? I
Oh
mean,
yes, that's right.
there's a long history. I mean, Journey Capture, I think about,
Oh, party's over. Yep, at the end of
Party's
that.
Over. Of course, for us, Y&T, you got Summertime Girls on
That's
Open
right.
Fire.
Y&T. Hello.
Kiss Alive. Yep. Kiss Alive 2 had a whole, side 4 of, five studio tracks. So,
Exactly.
you know, Music Time was, look, I'll admit, Kilroy Was Here. I mean, Mr. Roboto and that I was into. All right. I like that song. I still like Mr. Roboto to this day. Right. It's a catchy song. It's very 80s. It's very kind of popish, but it's still a good song. Music Time, extremely 80s sounding, and it just not my cup of tea. It was like I could see where that was totally Dennis and going crazy. I don't know if you ever seen the video for it, but
I
it's
have, but I hadn't seen it in a long time until recently. I saw it and I forgot how the song went. I checked out the video before I bought the album.
uh-huh.
I echo your sentiments complete. Ooh, it was dated in 1984.
Yeah.
Because it was now Mr. Roboto was very new wave, but it worked very well. It was very catchy. Maybe longtime fans might have considered it a sellout. I think the song sounds great even to this day. It is
It does. It
so
does.
catchy.
And
So
then, they obviously brought it back, so I mean they know. So
they brought it back after not playing it for years and years because Tommy and JY weren't a fan of it. It was Dennis's baby.
Yep.
As was Kilroy Was Here. Well, mostly because JY and Tommy wrote songs on it as well.
Sure.
Said that. All Music Time isn't good. No, it's not good. It hit
And
the top.
why they let it up like, the last song? Okay. Like you want to do that, but
Yeah.
it leads off the album. I mean,
Yeah, it's not a good first impression.
no.
No, yeah, that is not good. I mean, you were talking about studio songs on a live album. Okay. The ones you mentioned, The Party's Over by Journey is a good song. It wound up
Yeah,
being it was a top 40 hit.
yeah,
And maybe it's not as memorable as their classic hits, but it's still a good song.
yeah.
You mentioned Kiss Alive 2. Rocket Ride's a good song. I wouldn't say it's a great one, but that was a top 40 hit. And I think some of those other tracks on there are pretty cool. I'm not, I don't think they should have touched any way you want it. I
No,
just, it
no,
just doesn't have the reckless abandon like that original by the Dave Clark Five.
no, no,
Having
absolutely.
said that, I still like that a hell of a lot more in Music Time, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I know we're going off track a little bit, but I give Kiss an E for effort on that one. Music Time, ooh, this is very cheesy.
Yes.
Very
Extremely.
cheesy. It does not rock. I will say this, the chorus is kind of catchy, even though it's so not Styx. It's just so it's dumbed down, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So, but I'm glad that you said, yeah, let's talk about this studio track that leads it off first, because no. But it's
Yeah, because
I'm
everything
sorry.
else after that is, you know, to me like classic Styx. I mean, this
Absolutely.
is a greatest hits classic Styx live album. I mean, it's
I agree with that. And I will say this though about Music Time. Maybe you and I don't like it so much. It's still better than most of the songs on Crocus's Change of Address. If any of you follow me, you know where I'm
ooh,
going.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. Not my favorite Crocus album by far, but I would rather listen to that than Music Time any
Okay.
day.
All right. Well, that tells you, unless you really love Styx and love everything they've done, you may not care for Music Time.
No, no.
Yes.
But if you've never seen the video, check it out.
Check out the video. It's out there on YouTube. Ooh.
If
Mm, not
you didn't
Sam.
live through the 80s, you'll live through it in 3 minutes watching that video.
Yeah, and I remember the song when it was out, but I forgot how it went until I checked it out again. Because you don't remember everything from your youth. But ooh,
No.
yeah, not good. Not good. But
No. But the other thing too, kind of with this album is, and other live albums as well, and kind of I don't want to say it's a pet peeve of mine, but
okay.
and I get why labels do it, but it's this isn't the it isn't a full this isn't the full set list from the
Right.
show, right? And it's not in the order that they played it usually,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
So I just would love, to be like, hey, look, I didn't get to see the show, or I got to see the show, and this is a collector's kind of thing, for me seeing the show, and I know how it goes. If I would bought this and if I would have saw that tour, I'd be like, well, no, that's not the order that they played it. I mean, this one in particular, I get why some of it they didn't do because of all the theatrics and the other songs that they did, with what was it, Dr. Righteous or whatever.
Dr. Righteous. Dr.
Yeah,
Everett Righteous, played by James
Dr. Everett
Lee White.
Righteous, and there's some stuff that they obviously had to leave out on here, but I would have liked to have seen it, kind of flow the way that they presented it on stage. But the rest of these songs are just to me are just all stick classics and love listening to it. And that's kind of why I suggested this album was just these are all just great songs, great live, great studio tracks. Even Don't Let It End from Kilroy, was I think was a good song.
I agree with you on that. I thought you never hear Don't Let It End anymore.
No, No,
I
you don't.
thought that was a wonderful ballad from Styx,
Yeah.
and that Dennis wrote. Dennis had a knack for those ballads. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, you did.
he did.
Absolutely. And he
I
had the
mean,
voice for it too.
he does. He has a wonderful voice. I'll tell you what. When I listen to this album, magnificent singer live. Dennis
Yeah.
is Dennis. It's like listening to the record, but you know this is live. When you're watching it, you could tell if something isn't live or not. But these are Dennis's vocals, and this is what he did during these shows. He sounds great. The harmonies sound awesome. The
Yeah. They
harmonies are
always had good
awesome,
harmonies.
and I
Yeah.
mean that in a good way. But these are live, and from what I
Yep.
understand, they don't use backing tracks. To
No.
this
Nope.
day, they do not use backing tracks.
Nope.
So that's the band that if you're going to see them live, and Brian and I will talk about that in a little bit. That's their live. That is their voices live. There's not too
Yep.
many bands out there that are doing it 100% live these days, but Styx is still doing it. And
Yeah, and for them to do it after all these years too is just. I think I mean, you talk about Dennis's vocals on here. His are kind of definitely the best. I think listening to this again. Tommy, um, great voice. I think over the years. I think in the last 5 years I've seen him. I think he sounds even better now than he does on this album.
that is strong words to say because he sings in a high tenor, and those are the voices that go first. They don't
Yep.
age well as a deep voice like mine, for example. Those ones are hard to make. Those kind of voices are hard to maintain. And to say that he's that still that good this late in the game,
Yep.
that's a testament. You got to give Tommy and James, because James still sounds great on those harmonies. I
Yep. He
saw them,
does.
and I saw them. I only saw them once, and I saw them in 2014. But those harmonies were so impeccable then.
Yeah.
I mean, they really pay attention to their craft. They're still so well rehearsed. They are wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for all the kind of Tommy songs on this album too, one of the ones that as much as I love like Blue Collar Man and Too Much Time on My Hands, Crystal Ball, his first his that's kind of like one of his first songs, right? With Styx,
Yes,
is just an amazing song, and it just resonates so well live too. Just an incredible song.
I agree with you, and I think that's a song that's aged very, very well. It was like a deep cut on your AOR station. You hear it once in
Yep.
a while, but it was one of those songs that you're like, man, I wish they play it long. They play it more often, but they just have so many songs they got to play by Styx because so many of them were hits, and most of them age very, very well. I do like on this album that we do get a couple of cuts, one of them being Crystal Ball, the same with Sweet Madam Blue, which ends
Yeah.
disc one. Fantastic.
Yep.
That is a classic.
Yeah. I mean that Paradise Theater album too is just one of my favorite Stick albums.
Oh, absolutely. And I speaking of props, this hello Jim McGuire, he gave me this 10 years ago. Here's the
Yeah.
original. Yeah.
Yep. Does it have uh the the other side that has the what am I trying to say?
Here's the inside.
Yeah, on the record it's
Let's see.
because it's like three sides. The fourth side has the or the
This is
uh
only one record though. Paradise Theater.
oh well, yeah, that's right. But it has
I think I know where you're going. On the second side,
yeah, it's got
there's nothing listed on there. Like on the first side of vinyl.
it's got a print on it. I don't know if this will show.
Okay, let's see. Mine shows all the songs on the album on side 1 of the vinyl. What does it show on your side 2?
So it's got Styx, and it's got like these waves, which is hard to, maybe right there you can see right
Oh,
there.
okay, I see them now. Oh,
You see
okay.
it?
Oh my God, I never noticed that before. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
The imprints, the Styx imprint.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, learn something new. It's hard. Okay, there you can pick it up. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we both, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I thought it was kind of cool.
that's awesome. I never noticed that. But of course, I didn't buy this. It was given to me. Oh my God. Any of you out there about the original vinyl Sticks with these up, the imprint on the back? Please let us know in the comments. Holy smokes, I didn't expect that. Nice. I'm glad I brought that out. But Paradise Theater, very well represented on this album.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Well, it should be.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm glad we got Snowblind.
Yeah. No, Snowblind's yeah, that's a great tune.
Snowblind is wicked. And we got lead vocals by both JY
Yep.
and Tommy on there.
Yep.
And the harmonies on there are impeccable. They sound awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously JY is, out of the three of them, not as good a vocalist as Tommy or Dennis, but I've always loved Miss America. I think he just does such a great job with Miss America. That's such a great tune.
I agree with you completely. Miss America, they still play Miss America live.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
That's one. I mean, it wasn't I don't believe it was a single. It was always an album track.
Yep.
It was always in regular rotation forever on your AOR stations. Fantastic.
Yep. There is one omission from this album though that I think is egregious, but
I think I agree. I think I know where you're going, particularly as a fellow Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Yep. You're exactly right. It's Renegade.
It's Renegade. Renegade was in the live show.
Yes, it was part of that set list. Absolutely.
We didn't get Renegade on the live album. And what I found interesting is when I first picked this up, I thought no Renegade, no Lady. But then I looked, they didn't do Lady on the tour.
No.
Yeah, so we were getting a couple deep cuts, but we didn't get the hit from the early Wood Nickel years.
Yeah, Styx too, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. I mean,
from what they played during this tour, I think Renegade was one of those that, I'd much rather have Renegade than Music Time on this album, that's for sure.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing, but I'll tell you what, though, I've read reviews of this album, particularly All Music, and that, in my opinion, that needs a revision or a re-listen. Because over the years, sometimes a lot of those albums will be re-reviewed, re-evaluated, and then you'll see a higher ranking for them. But this is still listed as a 1.5 out of 5, and I think they are way, way off.
Really?
They are so off on this because the songs sound great. The recording is wonderful. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is the way John's drums are recorded, but I say that about a lot of live albums. They sound a little, he sounds awesome. It's the way they're recorded.
I can hear that. Yeah.
At times. But he's a monster on this album. I mean, you forget how great that rhythm section of Chuck and John were, but John played with a lot of intensity and a lot of power.
Yeah. No, he did.
If you listen to those great studio songs, some of those highlights were those magical fills he put in there. I think some of those fills may Come Sail Away. And a version of Come Sail Away, which closes this album, extended version, but you would expect is magnificent. I mentioned Snowblind. I think that was a wonderful version. Rocket of Paradise Destroys on.
Oh yeah, that's yeah,
And
great tune.
absolutely, and smart move to start it out as the first song on disc two or records vinyl two, the second vinyl record of this
Yeah.
collection. We have Babe on here, which was their first and only number one hit. What do you think of that song?
I like Babe. I mean, it's not my favorite Styx song, but
Right.
you can't deny it. I mean, you hear it and it's like it's a great ballad.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Um
Yeah. Some fans
you can't
can't
knock it.
stand it, but I love it. And that electric piano on there is
Yep.
wonderful. Oh my gosh. And then they have the guitar solo that was spliced in later
Yeah.
because I believe Tommy wasn't a big fan of it. And I remember, did you ever see the behind the music episode on Styx on VH1?
Yes. Yes.
Do you remember when they were talking about this album and then they wanted to put First Time as the next single? And Tommy Shaw's like, no, that's
Nope.
because it was
No.
another ballad and it wasn't, honestly, it wasn't as nowhere near as good a song as Babe.
Yeah. Now when I watched the video of this uh caught in the act, with all the extras and songs and the theatrics to it, I understood why Tommy left.
Right. They wanted to go more rock, and Dennis was more going theatrical with each album.
Yep.
Paradise Theater was a concept album, and he was going deeper and deeper into it here, talking about censorship with rock music. And not long
Yeah.
after this album came out, we started getting those stickers on the
Yeah,
album.
the PMC or yep.
EMRC and
Yep.
Music Resource Center.
Yeah. I know you mentioned earlier that once they went to the bigger arenas and that do you know if they still showed that video to start the show?
I believe they still showed the video.
Okay.
They still showed the video, but I don't know if I believe they may have dropped the costumes.
Gotcha.
Yes, I think. Yeah, I think they reached a compromise there. I don't believe
Yeah.
they were acting everything out and all that.
Yeah, JY just all slicked out on that. That's just
It's just a kick-ass rock show at that point.
oh my goodness. That yeah, I don't know. If as a I was a little older and a Styx fans back in the 70s and then going to see this show, I probably would have been taken back seeing that for sure.
I'm thinking, yeah, the fans who came in Grand Illusion before,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna be like, what the heck is this?
Yep.
Maybe newer, younger fans at the time might think it was pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Any of you who've seen this tour, when you seen this tour in 1983, whether you saw it in the smaller theaters or in the larger venues, please let us know in the comments what you thought of this show back in 1983. As far as other tracks on here, I think everything on here is very good. Musically, I think everything kicks.
Oh yeah.
Too
Absolutely.
much time on my hands. I don't think it's the greatest vocal from Tommy.
No, yeah, yeah, you're right.
It sounds like he sings in a very high register.
Yeah, that's one of those songs that makes me say that he sings it better now to me than what it is on here.
Like that and Blue Collar Man. Like Blue Collar Man, you can hear him straying a little bit, but Blue Collar Man is a hard song to sing because you're up in that high register the whole time. I'm thinking even back then, this wasn't an easy one for him to do. I mean,
I don't know. He sounds really good doing it today. Yeah.
Damn.
Like I said, I'm gonna see him in a couple weeks again. They're doing the Pieces of Eight in its entirety and then greatest hits. So looking forward to that. So I'm sure they'll do Blue Collar Man again.
Oh, nice. Now, You're a big Styx fan. How many times have you seen them live?
I believe 7. I think this one coming up will be 8.
Okay.
But it's all been, after Tommy got back into the band.
Okay, so they were all during Lawrence Gowan was all.
Yes, never with Dennis DeYoung. No,
Okay. Have you ever seen Dennis live on his own?
I have not.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. But I think everything on here, I think, is very, very well done musically. The harmonies are fantastic. Tommy, I said what I said on Too Much Time on My Hands and Blue Collar Man. Everything else, he sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Those are the only two songs I hear something. I hear something that's a
yeah.
little.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's that's kind of what I mentioned before. It was not probably his best couple nights there, or I don't know what was going on with that, um, but again, it's live, so I have no problem with it.
Right. I feel the same way. I would rather it. I mean, it's not to the point where I would
Not
say
overdubbed, and
I would. Yeah, I don't think it needs an overdub. It's just something that you notice from listening to music for so long.
yep,
But yeah, this is an outstanding performance here. We were talking about their catalog, and they've had a lot of different eras. They had the wood nickel years. They had
yep,
the A&M years when they were so huge. Then they had the albums. They had two albums in the 90s, which one of them had a gigantic hit used more as a Gulf War anthem at that time, because I remember when it came out. And
yep.
then one at the end of the 90s. And then they took another break and then they came back. What is your favorite era of Styx? And is there an era of Styx that you're not so fond of?
Oh, it's definitely when Tommy came in, Cornerstone.
Oh,
Yeah, Cornerstone through Kilroy.
would you say Crystal Ball?
Oh, Crystal Ball, sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
Crystal
okay.
Ball. Yeah, yeah, through Kilroy is definitely my favorite. Um I do have every Styx album that came out, whether it's the early stuff with Wooden Nickel or the later stuff now with Crash of the Crowns and what was the last one? Circling from Above. I do have that on vinyl. New stuff is very progressive, which isn't like, the later 70s and the early 80s stuff. It's still good. There's definitely some good songs on there that I like. Um, and I love these older bands that still put out music. Definitely support that. So, but definitely the late 70s, early 80s is my favorite time of the band.
It would be my favorite too. And I've heard a little bit of everything, but yeah, definitely my favorite. Like Glenn Burtnick, when he was there on that Edge of the Century album,
Essentially.
I thought there were good songs on there. It didn't really sound like Styx to me. It Show Me the Way did, because of Dennis.
Yeah, Show Me the Way was definitely like, it was Dennis, and it kind of continued on from kind of Kilroy and a little bit of Music Time and that. I mean, it all kind of came, was in the same ballpark, right? But um, so have you heard any of the stuff that just got leaked or the lost album?
I did not, but I did watch Grant's show on Grant's Rock Warehouse where he and
Yeah,
Pete Cretin were talking about that.
yeah, they did play some of that stuff, and
I did. I caught most of this show. It seemed to. Okay, so that would have been what would have came out after Edge. It was going to be like
right,
Step of Edge or something like
yes,
that.
yes,
What I caught of that show, it seemed like it was very ballady.
yes,
Yeah, and
Or the same of of kind of Edge. It's kind of continue from there. So
right,
not my favorite stuff. There's just some stuff that was okay, but not my favorite. I mean, the fact that they took most of the 80s off was probably not a bad thing.
right, and then doing solo projects. Because I mean, right, it's interesting. Same year that this came out, Caught in the Act in '84, we got Desert Moon from Dennis DeYoung, and he was back on the charts again.
Yeah, and there were some good songs on that album too.
Yeah, I like the
He had
singles. I thought
some,
the title song was excellent.
yeah, he had some heavy rotation on MTV back then, and
I remember that. Yeah, that was the
absolutely,
first year we had MTV in '84. So
yeah,
I remember Desert Moon getting played a lot, and then Don't Wait for Heroes getting played less so, but it was a good song.
yeah,
And I think Girls with Guns from Tommy Shaw, I'm gonna say that was '85.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was a little disappointed with that album, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
yeah. I didn't hear the album, but it's interesting. He was the one who wanted to say, "Oh, we want to go more rock."
And he didn't for the most part.
No, no, that song, which was a top 40 hit, that's carried by a synth.
Yeah, yeah,
That's yeah, that's carried by a synth like Music Time is. It's probably just a better song. It has a good chorus.
yeah,
I said
yeah.
Music Time had a catchy chorus too, but yeah, it's not as cheesy.
No, it's not as cheesy. No, definitely not. But he fell victim to the whole kind of 80s sound and production too that a lot of people did back in that time. So yeah, it wasn't until, obviously late 80s, early 90s when, he got back at, did the damn Yankees thing that they kind of really got back to what I thought he does best. So
I agree with that. I was going to ask you what you thought of his work with Damn Yankees. I was
I
on
love it. Yeah. Yeah, those two damn Yankee albums are awesome.
it. Yeah, I really really loved the first one. I saw them on that tour. They
Yep.
they opened for Bad Company,
Okay.
the Brian Howe Bad Company,
Yeah. You're right.
and
Yeah.
Damn Yankees were amazing live.
Yeah.
Amazing because well,
Well, I mean, you got Jack, you got Tommy, you got,
you got Uncle
Ted on
Ted, you
guitar. I mean, they're gonna sound good live. I mean,
got Michael Carlone, who's a wonderful drummer. I
yeah,
believe he's been
absolutely.
playing with. I think he's been playing with Leonard Skinner for about 20 years now, at least.
Oh, yeah,
I think.
that's
I
right.
think.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I've seen. Yeah, I saw Leonard Skinner a couple of years ago. I mean, what
Yeah,
was left of him?
I did too. Yeah, I saw them in 13. Interestingly, with the 40th anniversary of the original Bad Company, so Paul Rogers was back, and then I saw them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was a cool tour.
Yeah.
And then I did see Skinner a few years back as well. So when I was looking at Setlist FM, it was
Yep.
showing some of the other songs that they were playing on this tour, and they were mixing
Yes.
it up a little bit. I have to ask you, outside of the aforementioned Renegade, is there any other songs from Kilroy Was Here that you think may have been strong enough to make the cut on this?
No.
I was leaning towards Heavy Metal Poisoning, but at the same
Well, I mean, they did it. They obviously played it.
they
That
played
was
it, but
part
I'm
of, as
thinking as far as the live album.
far as on there. No,
Okay.
no. It's just
It's just yeah.
I mean, if they were gonna do like the whole the whole thing the way it was presented from there, they could do an album of that. Then yeah, absolutely. Put it on there. Um, but if they're gonna cut down songs, I mean, they already are left Renegade on. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
off. I just
And you can't
to
take off.
have heavy metal poisoning instead of like what?
Yeah, what do you take off? Because it's like, yeah, back then we're rarely gonna have a 3 record set then, right? So 2 record sets the way to go. I mean, at least we got a 2 record set. I mean, they should have been a 2 record set. I mean, their popularity was.
Live album, yeah, there's the whole single, and Tim and I went off on this on Y&T's Open Fire.
Oh
It's like
yes, yeah.
there should never be a single record live album. It just doesn't make sense to me as as a consumer of music. It's just doesn't make sense because you can't capture the whole vibe of that tour. I mean, I don't know. So, but yeah, I think Don't Let It End was definitely. I totally get why they included that one, and I have no problem with that.
Absolutely. And you can't take off. I was saying how much I enjoyed the fact that we got a track from Equinox and a track from Crystal Ball on here.
Yes.
Yeah, as much as I like Heavy Metal Poisoning, you can't take those off. I mean,
No.
that would probably be the only one I would consider, but no. Some of the other tracks that they did live from Kilroy Was Here, I'm not too high on. Cold War, haven't we been here before? Yeah, which they were using as the encore.
Right.
They were doing 2 encores. Yeah, no. I think they made a great move as far as making this more of a greatest hits, so to speak, even though we didn't get all of the greatest hits.
No, but you got a very good selection of songs from their career, and then a couple of the new ones from Kilroy, and then if you want to call Music Time a new a new song, you got that too. So
Yeah, and a questionable studio single for
yeah, yeah. I don't. I don't. I do not like studio singles on live albums. I'll put that out there. I don't care. I don't like Summertime Girls on Open Fire. I don't like
I
um,
agree with you on that.
you know, I don't like it on the Journey album. I would have rather had more songs on Kiss Alive too, to be honest with you. I mean, I like a lot of the songs on side four, but I would, it's a live album, live songs. So, but
Yeah, and the thing with that album, it's well, they didn't want to repeat anything. But
no, but I mean, they had Take Me, they had Hooligan, they
yeah,
had
they
other
make it
stuff.
love, and
They could have done it. So,
they could have. They could have. That's true.
I mean, the reason, they have that whole, I mean, I have a copy of the misprint Alive 2 that has Take Me and Hooligan, and I can't remember the third song that's listed in the tracks on there. I mean, they were going to do that, but they couldn't fit it all on. They realized, groove wise, it was going to not sound very good to compress all that onto to 2 records. So they got rid of those 3 songs. So I mean, they could add those 3 and a couple others, even if Tomorrow Tonight was basically done in the studio anyway. It wasn't.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It wasn't live, so they could have done another 1 or 2 of those too, and made them sound live. Which as a what was I 7 years old when I got that album, or 8 years old? So I mean, would have loved. So
I think Hard Luck Woman was one that wasn't live either on that album.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm not a fan of putting a studio track on a live album.
And the only reason they do it is business.
No, I know.
That's the
I,
only.
I get it,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
that's one last live track that they can put on there from that tour. So
yeah, we should have got Renegade and No Music Time, is what you're saying.
correct. That would have been proper.
Mhm. So, Brian, how would you rank Styx, Caught in the Act on a scale of 1 to 10.
I would give this an 8.
Okay.
It would be a 9 without music time. And it would be a 10 if it had Renegade.
Kind of go where I'm going. I was thinking 8 the whole time. Get music time off there. Give us at least Renegade. Even Heavy Metal Poisoning would be a major.
I would prefer Heavy Metal Poisoning than music time. Absolutely.
Yes. Why do I love it though? We get most of the greatest hits. The performances are very, very strong. The
Yep.
harmonies are impeccable. Playing is excellent. Dennis, in particular, sounds fantastic.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing on it.
Certainly does. And we get a nice collection of what they did from Equinox through Kilroy Was Here. A lot of the albums only have one song off them. Yes, we definitely want Renegade on here. I mean, to me, that's the most obvious omission.
Yep.
And I feel, yeah, you feel the same way, I gather. But what we got here is very, very good. All music, any other music critics out there, listen to this again. This is a heck of a lot better than what you were listening to back in the day. You know, maybe this needs some of these live albums. You gotta go back and listen to these and to really, really appreciate them. I don't know what they were. Sometimes you wonder if they were listening to them at all. Sometimes, but
the 1 out of 5. That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
that's weak.
Yeah,
that's weak. I mean, if it sounded like crap and the performances weren't good, okay, but no. I don't. It's almost like they said that music time's on here. This sucks. We're to give it 1.5. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they put on the first track and then that may have soured them. I get it. You know, I don't. You know, if I drop the needle on this thing, I try to drop it on on the second groove there. So
when you go see Styx live these days, I mean, right
yeah.
now we're doing this in January 2025. I know they're playing outdoor venues as part of a package in the summer. What kind of venues they playing these days in the winter? Are they playing like mid-sized theaters?
So I'm January 27th, 28th. I'm seeing them in Las Vegas at the Venetian. So that's kind of they usually do a small residency in
Okay.
Vegas. Like every January, they'll do 2 weeks at the Venetian. I saw them last year, which is where I got this shirt from.
Nice.
They did the Grand Illusion in its entirety, plus greatest hits. This year they're doing Pieces of Eight. So they kind of been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years, been doing those residencies. So Vegas is close to me, so that's where I go. They're actually going to be here in my town in April. I believe it's April, and it's a casino
Okay.
place, so it's indoor from there. But I mean, I've seen them. Usually it's sheds. Outdoor sheds in the summer with whoever. I know they're doing some with Cheap Trick this summer.
Okay, know that.
Yeah, they're doing some with Cheap Trick, and then they're doing some with Chicago this summer, kind of the Midwest area, which both those bands are obviously from. So, yeah, so they're doing that. So they're still going strong. They're touring like crazy.
Very good. So, Brian and I both give this an 8 out of 10. This is Styx, Caught in the Act, released in 1984, originally on A&M Records. So, to all of you who are watching, thank you. What do you think of Styx's music, and what do you think of this album, Caught in the Act? What do you think of the performances on this album? What do you think of the songs that were chosen for this album? Do you agree with Brian and I that Renegade should absolutely, positively be on this album? What do you think of the single Music Time? Curious to know what you think of that Did you see Styx in 1983, whether it was in the small theaters where the shows were more based on the theatrics of the story of Kilroy Was Here, or later on in the tour, later in 1983, when they were playing the larger venues and we were getting a kick-ass rock show, although we were getting a little film at the end. Have you seen Styx lately? And how do you think they sound these days? What are your favorite albums by Styx? What are your favorite songs by Styx? Please let us know in the comments what you think of Styx caught in the act. Bryan, thank you so much for joining me today and for recommending this album that does not get enough love or recognition. Styx, nope. Caught in the act.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome, Bryan. Bryan, you have a fantastic channel called Y&T and Friends Vinyl Talk. What do you have coming up on your channel?
Well, I just recorded an episode today for Endangered Species, which nice. I think is the probably the most, I don't know if underrated is the right word, or less known Y&T album from their catalog that has just a lot of great music on it. So going track by track and kind of deep diving into that to that album. So that one's coming up here soon.
Very, very good. And as a fellow Y&T fan, I agree with you completely on Endangered Species. That is a very strong track. I think their 90s albums should be talked about a lot more often. They made great music throughout their career.
That they did.
Absolutely. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Do what you love, and we'll talk to you soon.